Let me see. What do we got? Letters, right?
Here we got some mail.
All right.
We always have.
Go ahead.
Would you like me to read some of the mail?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely.
Okay, because this is actually a very this is one of my favorite parts of the show, because it shows that there's a lot of schmucks that listen to the show.
Tremendous.
Wow.
And you know, that they're trying to get themselves over and stuff and everything. Let's start off from Joseph Greco, and his subject is regarding the Fabulous Moolah controversy. What's up, guys? I never knew about the controversy surrounding the Fabulous Moolah until this week. Are you guys surprised the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania is named after her? Do you guys see a problem with it? Also, I'm sorry, Disco. I'm a big fan, and you have to be the most over guy in podcasting today. But the Stupid Idiot Shirt Club is incredible. Where's the free T-shirt giveaway contest? And JoJo, too many people putting you over, so JoJo, you can suck it. Cheap pop for burial. He sent that from a podcast.
That's inappropriate.
Bro, let me tell you something. There's but especially wrestling. You know, you got guys like David Bixenspan and Ryan Satin and stuff and everything like this. These pretty prominent journalists in the business that are like sitting back waiting to be offended. You know, like to find something that they can be offended about, and something and all that. And the Moolah thing was the latest. So that's the one thing about Dave Meltzer that like separates him from these other guys, is that, you know, he's opinionated, but he's not political. You know what I mean? He's like his focus is on wrestling journalism. You know what I mean? And
not on snowflake shit or
Right. Like stuff like that, like the Moolah, like he's not trying to champion a cause. He just reports stories as they are, something instead of like choosing sides and stuff. But these guys, bro, that they just, I mean, I guess Moolah was a rotten person and everything, but like how much of that stuff was like factual historical context, or how much was just allegations?
Here's a problem, because I'm pretty well versed on this. The thing is, it's almost like they're just probably half of them didn't even know about her past transgressions, and they probably, the minute they see somebody's name from a memorial or whatever, they're checking up their history, because I know about her past and it was kind of well hidden, but in today's climate, like I said, your shit will be exposed. And at first, I just thought it shouldn't be named about her after her, only because I was like, who really remembers her, right?
And how hot chicks you can put on the poster to promote it instead.
Right, but you know how WWE, they're like a lot of places. When they are endeared to you, they will stand behind you no matter what you did, until public scrutiny rears its head, and then they do the PC thing. All right, because she was the first woman in the Hall of Fame. She was a friend of both Vince Senior and Junior. Yeah. And I remember when I was reading this thing that back in the day, Moolah used to book like all the women like in the 50s and the 60s, and basically, that was just, which basically meant sending a couple women to like a territory to put on a single woman's match. They did the same thing with Latinos and with brothers. But one of the things, when they would send women to the territory, they were expected to have sex with the promoters or other guys in the company. And you still saw that in Mexico and Japan when I broke in. And, and the worst part is that, she was a tough bitch. So she would beat up women that wouldn't acquiesce. A tremendous word for a Latino. And who can forget the infamous incident? I actually saw this the other day. Do you remember that match she had against Wendy Richter, where she was dressed up like as the Spider Lady?
The Spider Lady, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And at that time, Wendy Richter, if you remember, D.I., she was red hot because she was doing the Cyndi Lauper angle, and Piper was involved, and Albano was involved. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
great angle, by the way. Here's what I always wondered. When she was in the back, did she not know it was Moolah, or did she just not think she was going to get double-crossed?
Well, I read about this recently, actually. There was another wrestler that portrayed the Spider, or the Spider Lady, and it was like a Moolah trainee. So when Wendy saw on the board or whatever, she was wrestling the Spider Lady, she saw the woman that portrayed her and Moolah backstage. So she didn't think anything of it, because Moolah's going to be there anyway. You know, because it was, I think it was, New York or Boston or something. It was one of the big cities.
It was New York. It was Madison Square Garden.
Oh, it was Madison Square Garden, right. And so, but when she walked to the ring, she knew it was her by walk and shape and all that stuff. So she knew something was fishy, but she wasn't quite sure what. But yeah, she didn't suspect anything until she saw her coming to the ring. from what I read.
I thought the best part, and you might want to put this on Patreon, Joe, is at the end it was choppy because Wendy was kind of figuring out that something was going on because they tried the fast counter once. And she actually kicks out before 3 and goes wild and rips Moolah's mask off and just keeps hitting her and hitting her. Moolah ain't selling shit.
No. And hits her with the belt, too, like whips her with the championship belt, like a few times. Yeah. To wrap that up real quick, I know we talked about it for a little bit, but I think the guy sent the email before they changed the name. So they did take her name off because of the controversy. And
whose name is on it now?
Nobody. It's just the Women's Battle Royal, So
that's a dumb marketing plan anyway. Like the Mae Young Classic.
And
actually, in this day and age, maybe
it's Husey. Hello.
Day and age, maybe they did that because the median age of the wrestling fan the WWE fan is 55 years old.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I don't understand. How could the fan base be 55? Because I would read that for Lucha Underground, it's 50 years old, when the show's obviously written for teenagers and people in elementary. I mean, 55?
Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
I just thought that was weird. That was a weird dichotomy. You know what I'm saying?
You're not generating new fans with this product.